Hello there, Rose. I see I'm a little fuzzy. Maybe Zoom can't handle my high vibrations.
Zoom is soaking up all your high vibes today.
Well, the reason we are together, Rose and myself, is we have been guided, inspired really, to tell a little bit about our story and what brought us together and what we are creating, we are birthing together.
And what we are birthing is called the Rose and the Flame. Colleen, as you see, is holding down the frequencies of the rose, and I am holding down the frequencies of the flame. Even though my name is Rose, I'm over here doing the flame. So, yeah, so this is exciting. So, Colleen, tell us a little bit about your story and your journey.
Well, my story, we're going all the way back to my childhood. I have always been connected. I've always felt spirit, energy. I would speak to the angels. I really never spoke to anybody about this until a little bit later on in life. And my real big guide was Jesus, not the biblical Jesus, but he felt like a brother, like a confidant. So I
That's
went through
beautiful.
Oh, it was a beautiful feeling. I just knew I had someone I could lean on. I had a little bit of a rough childhood, but that's for another time.
And you weren't raised in a traditional religion. You weren't raised in Christianity.
Not at all. We had no really religion at all, but I always knew there was something. I was always felt connected, and like I said, I always felt the energy, especially when I was sad. They would really come around and hold me, and those were the angels. And when I talked to Jesus. He was my friend, like a brother. But like I said, I never really told anyone how what was going on because I knew the people would think, oh, she's a little crazy. So I just kept that to myself. And as life went on, had three children, three beautiful children. I still always felt my connection, but it got further and further away. And then my journey took me to work with hospice. So I worked with the death and dying. And probably 10 years into it, I worked 20 plus years. I really felt the connection really strong.
Mm.
I could at that time was starting to see spirit along with my clients and patients that were transitioning. So I always had one foot in each realm, holding sacred space for my clients. And it was a beautiful thing because I always felt like I was almost channeling, didn't know it at the time, the right words, the energies that really soothe my clients and their family. So I didn't know it until as I was awakening more and more to these energies, I knew something special was happening.
Well, I think it's fascinating that you were tuning into these angels, ascended masters, master teacher Jesus, as you were not only working with your hospice client, but hospice involves the entire family.
Mhm.
Usually,
Yes.
usually hospice is not just one person. There's all kinds of different family dynamics, and depending on their religious beliefs or depending on their relationship with death, what's on the other side, where are they heading, where are they going, how attached are they to this life. I can imagine that probably came in handy.
Yes, it so did. I just soothed them. You know, I walked in to a chaos. Some of them was a chaos energy, and my presence, my voice, my words just soothed them. And it was a beautiful thing. I went home every day knowing I did something incredible. But towards the ending of my journey through hospice, I was feeling the call to transition my journey to finish helping people transition and to the death, you know, to rebirth, into helping people live, really live that people, you know, so many of us are walking through life just existing. So that's when the lights really turned on, and it's like, oh, I can do this. But first, I had to do the work for myself. I had to rediscover who I was as not only human but divine. And that took me on a long journey, sometimes hard and sometimes not. But I had to go through the dark night of the soul, and that's another story too. But that really helped me uncover my gifts and abilities. And that brought me to the priestess path
Mm-hmm.
to awaken those energies, because I've always been done that kind of work. So, and that's how I met Rose, a beautiful Rose. I knew immediately when I met you that I knew you. Your energies were so familiar. And it wasn't this lifetime. It was past lifetime, many past lifetimes. So I knew then how important it would be to join forces as modern day priestess and start our work in the world.
I feel the same. I feel like, and I'll get to my story in a minute, but I definitely feel like as we started connecting during the lockdown period of our world's recent history and recent past, but even feeling that connection, even though I hadn't met you in person, I absolutely felt an affinity for you as a person, for you. I could feel your and sense your soul, and I can feel and sense our connection that given our, it took us a while just to get to know each other in the, in
Physical.
class that we were in. Yes, in this lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
there's no doubt that we absolutely had
Yeah.
a connection that transcends us
Oh,
knowing each other.
all
Sure
space and dimensions. Yes.
enough.
Yes. And to really join forces and bring our gifts and talents and abilities together to assist the collective, our soul family.
So, for our listeners, we were in a ceremonialist or guiding people, others through ritual, which is going to be part of what we're going to do for the Rose and the Flame. So you'll get to actually see our skills and abilities in action. But this was at a time when we were still learning, we were still practicing. Um, but the most amazing part of that journey was that we were all from different parts and places and spaces. We were all going through lockdown at the same time together. And we all started to very quickly say, hey, we want to practice our gifts, skills, and abilities together. We want to get these going right now, even on the the Zoom circles that we had. We were very advanced, I think, in our remembering and our claiming and our owning of the things that we were learning. And
Yes.
so that's kind of the story of how Colleen and I got to witness and see uh, what each other brought to the table or brought to the circle. But I digressed a little bit there. I'll go back and I'll share a little bit about my story. Interestingly, and Colleen and I had a good conversation about this in terms of just sharing our journeys with each other. But my journey started in a very contained and structured way. I was raised Catholic, and so I did 8 years of Catholic grade school. I did 1 year of Catholic high school, but went all the way up and through into confirmation. And I was even married as a mid 20s is when I got married, in my mid 20s, but was even married in the Catholic Church. And so really received, as they say, all the sacraments, or most of the sacraments. I haven't done the death sacrament and ritual yet. I'm not there yet. And so mine was just a very different relationship. I remember when I was a child, I too had a really close relationship with Jesus. One of the sacraments, or one of the rites of passage, if you're not Catholic, it's just a rite of passage. And so one of the rites of passage was receiving your Holy Communion, which was committing to the path of Jesus. And I remember having just such a special relationship with Jesus. We actually had a class that we had to prepare ourselves for. And so they had different writing exercises. And it's probably the first time where I realized that one of my gifts is, they call it automatic writing now, is kind of the term that everybody uses, but it's not just me journaling, me as Rose, but it was a way that I could receive and talk to and through the Holy Spirit to Jesus, and also receive guidance as well. And so, yeah, so the path continued for me through Catholic grade school and into Catholic high school. But by the time I received, so one of the next rites of passage was your confirmation. So it's you then as an adult saying that you're going to continue to commit to the path in the way of love through the teachings of, Jesus as our master teacher. I had a very different experience. It felt very disconnected. It felt very, standing in front of the bishop was very rote. The bishop was this strange, not so friendly personality. And so that just didn't have that same heartfelt knowing that I had when I was a younger child and started receiving and journaling, and I had that closer connection to something greater than myself, the angels, Jesus, yeah, all of that. And so my journey continued into then actually I was really fortunate because my mom started doing some of her recovery work. And so she encouraged me to step into the 12 steps, so that it's based on the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. I was doing more of my adult child recovery work at the time. And that's where I began to discover, okay, yes, there is this power that is out there. There is this power that is accessible. There are other realms that are out there that are in the invisible, but that are no less powerful than anything I can see, in front of my eyes.
Yes, yes. It's within, that energy that is within as well.
And so that kind of began my journey of like, is this power? Oh, wait, this is not just a power that's out there, but it's a power that's inside of me. And so as
Mhm.
I continued into my adult path, I too have been on one or two dark nights of the soul. um, I too have been awakening and reclaiming my gifts more and more. And that started in my adult years, shifting from the 12 steps into metaphysical principles, which is, oh, there's just, okay, if I understand what the laws are, the greater universal laws, the law of cause and effect, the law of frequency, the law of vibration, then I can be even more in tune to how those work for me and through me and as me in my life. And that's where I really receive this gift of what we call in the New Thought space affirmative prayer, but it's really, the technical term is spiritual mind treatment, because I'm aligning myself with and in that place of that power, of that energy, of that, all knowing, whatever you want to call it, that's accessible. So I'm stepping out of the lower thought system that is here on this planet, that back to kind of what you were saying, Colleen, when you would step in with families, just depending on where they were, how aware they were, that thought system may have been dictating that dynamic and playing itself out in the family system, in the way, and the thoughts and beliefs that people have and hold around death and around their body and their attachment to their body and death and all of those things.
Yes. So that brings us up to the modern day now.
So the beautiful thing is that I feel like in our priestessing and in my priestessing journey, it's marrying, aligning my mind with the divine mind, but also aligning my heart with the divine heart. And then because we're here on this planet, right, we're in the 3D. So utilizing what's here in the 3D, utilizing my voice, utilizing song, recognizing that my own body through these portals of light, which is what our journey is going to explore in the Rose and the Flame, what each one of these areas, the portals of light within me, otherwise known as the chakras, what that carries in the way of different frequencies, and how the more and more I get in tune with that, the more I open up to the fact that I am a natural born scent priestess. I just know what to do with these oils. I know where they should go. As an empath, I can feel into the different portals of light, the different places and spaces within the body, and then apply these different healing tools to each of them. And for me, what I was gifted and given coming out of our training together was holding down the element of fire. And the fact that fire is this pure fire, fire is what helps move and shift things from one side of form, from a piece of paper into smoke and ashes. And so, not that I'm saying I want to be transformed into smoke and ashes, but energetically, it has the ability to clear and lift the vibration. Because at the end of the day, I'm just like a radio transmitter transmitting. So I want to be in my highest way of transmitting so that I can live my dream life right here and right now. I don't want to wait to die and give up my body to live my dreams. I want to live my dreams right here.
Yep. Yes. And that's brings us to how we really were joined together. We were guided. This is divinely guided for us to come together with our different skill sets for the same purpose of helping others transform and remember their gifts and abilities through the purification of the fire, the flame, and to activate. That brings me to my work with the rose. The rose is such a beautiful symbol of love, peace, purity. And I have been called to bring the rose through my channel, my vessel, with the rose and the flame to activate, to assist in activating our gifts and abilities and the soul family who feel the resonance of our offering. I feel that beautiful essence of the rose flowing as I'm speaking.
I feel that with you. Yeah. She's deep. She's always committed to pure, uncut love. And she's never ending. It's a never ending. Love is a never ending thing.
Oh, and that brings us to the path of love, to really reclaim who we are is love. So we're being called to really walk the path of love and to really walk each other home to love. That's what the rose and the flame is really here to do. We were called to again join forces and create this beautiful transformational journey together.
So that concludes a little bit about who Calleen and I are, what our journeys have been, why we're inspired to share the rose and the flame with you. And we invite you to stay tuned. We'll share in a part 2 more specific to the rose and the flame. And of course, if you're interested and you want to just see the details, you can check those out in the description below. You can check out more about Calleen and more about myself. Blessings.
Yes. Till we meet again.